welcome to another Chelsea chat. And last night, I'm glad to say, it was Chelsea 2, Blackburn Rovers 0 at the Bridge, and in the Carabao Cup last 16. And all I can say really about that game was, well, we got the job done. We won, so I'm happy, but I was terribly uninspired. We put a really strong side out last night. We had Sanchez in goal, Reece James back at right back, which was nice to see. A couple of real flashes of the old Reece James brilliance as well, even though you can see he's rusty as anything. Disasi was on the right side of the back four. Next to him was Badiashile. Nice to see him back as well, and he scored. Good night for Badiashile. And we had Cucurella at left back. In front of them, we had Hugo Chukwu, or Big Les, as they're calling him, in midfield instead of Caicedo. We had Fernandez in midfield, and in front of them, we had Conor Gallagher, Sterling, we had Cole Palmer, and in front, right up front, we had Nicholas Jackson, allegedly. Now, that was a pretty strong side, I think you'll agree. And you can only beat what's in front of you. And in front of us was a team that are 12th in the Championship. And judging on their performance last night, they're probably overperforming in the Championship. They were absolutely dire. But I did find myself during that game last night, and let me know what you think. Maybe I'm being overcritical. I did find myself at times thinking, this is so boring. Playing across particularly in the first half, playing the ball across the back, playing it into midfield, playing it back to Sanchez, out to Cucurella, to Sterling, into the midfield, back to Disasi. The only thing I would say is that when Disasi did try and play long balls, which he did on 4 or 5 occasions, none of them went to a Chelsea player. And so I was equally frustrated then. There were some highlights though. Cole Palmer, what a player he is. He's got a little bag of tricks. And I love it. When he gets the ball, I get excited. It can be a really boring game, like I found that last night. Really uninspiring. Cole Palmer gets on the ball and I sit up in my seat. And that's a sign of a good player, or so I would say. Again, we had what I thought was a bang to rights penalty shout when Sterling was brought over in the area. Some people would say, well, they had a shout as well for a handball by Conor Gallagher. But Conor Gallagher, it was hit from about 2 metres away, and he had his back turned and he hit his arm. That's probably handball, to be honest, in today's day and age, but I can't see how that can be a handball. No way, no how. He didn't stop it going in, so you can't even say it was a direct scoring opportunity. It was a cross. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Sterling was caught, and when you watch it in slow motion, bang to rights, VAR, that would have been a penalty, or would it? It wasn't at the weekend, was it? So there was those glimpses. Badiashile scored, as I say. Conor Gallagher, who didn't have one of his best games last night, got out to the wing, crossed it. The goalkeeper did a Kepa. He did one of those, and it looked like Flipper, didn't it? It looked like, I don't know what he was doing, but I'm glad he did it because Badiashile tucked it away nicely. In the second half, of course, Sterling got a lovely little goal, nice little bit of play. Sterling, a revitalised Sterling in that second half. I thought he was excellent after a pretty lousy, boring. I don't know what Poch said to him. Maybe, you see, you're supposed to be going that way towards their goal. And Sterling said, oh yeah, I forgot all about that. Because yet in the second half yesterday, that's exactly what he started to do. He started to attack him. One lovely little dribble I can remember that didn't quite come off, but very nearly did. And a lovely, lovely finish for Chelsea's second goal. So Sterling was a highlight in that second half. Again, we should have scored another couple at least. And Nicholas Jackson, do you know what? I disagree with Shearer because I think Jackson puts loads and loads of effort in. But he's going out to the corner flag, he's going out to the halfway line, he's back in our area. Just stick to playing centre forward. Use your pace. I mean, last night they were ripe. They were absolutely pony at the back. They were ripe to let in 6 or 7 goals. But we never looked like doing that to them. And that's because a lot of the time, when the ball went out to the wings, for instance, it was either a choice of going on their own or waiting for Nicholas Jackson, who was 30 yards back, to get to where the centre forward should be. I don't know what all that's about. The lad's obviously low in confidence because I mean he looked a player with Nkunku next to him, didn't he, in pre-season? But he's obviously very low in confidence. He's trying too hard, but not trying in the right ways. You know, he's all over the gaff. I'm hoping that Brozia's fit for Monday night, and to be honest, I'd just stick him straight in. We do need a centre forward, we know that, and I think January that's got to be our main priority because I think Nicholas Jackson will be good playing with someone, but just up there on his own, it's not working. It's like having Kai Havertz with more effort but less skill. That's what it's like at the moment having Nicholas Jackson up there. So the team scores. Yeah, Sanchez brought off a beautiful save with a minute left down to his right. Great reflex save. Didn't put a foot wrong all night. I think he made one bit of a dodgy clearance where he left it a bit late, but that's always going to happen with the way we play. And Sanchez gets a 7 because that save near the end was worth 5 points alone. Reece James, great to see him back. Very nearly scored twice. Once he hit it not cleanly and the keeper got it stuck under his legs, and the second time that missed the post by a couple of inches. He was a real threat going down that right. Some lovely interplay with Gallagher, with Fernandes and Ugo Chakwu. Yeah, I'm going to give Reece. He was under par, but he's looking more like his old self, so I'm going to give him a 6. Dizazi, I'm giving him a 4. I thought he had a pretty poor game last night. As I say, I was making me notes 5 or 6 times he tried long balls forward. Fair play to him. Probably thought, look at this lot playing it back all the time. Tried to play them forward, but it either went out, I think, on 3 occasions, to their goalkeeper on 1, and straight to them on the other couple of occasions. Out of position last night several times, and he's definitely not a Wesley Fofana. I'm going to say that now. He's adequate, but I think Fofana, when he comes back, maybe Fofana and Badiashile, or depending on who's available at left back, Colwell out there, and Badiashile and Fofana in that middle. But definitely, because I'm not bringing Thiago into it because I think he'll be gone at the end of the season. But moving forward, Badiashile looks as if he'd never been away. But he looked, when he first signed, he just stepped straight in, didn't he? And Fofana, we know he's got the ability, it's just he's made of glass. So yeah, Badiashile last night gets a 7. For a bloke that's been out for so long, he scored, he looked solid as a rock, a couple of great interceptions and one really good tackle that I can think of. They didn't create a lot, they only had 1 shot on target, I think about 7 chances without looking at the stats. Last night I think we had a lot more. I think we had probably 30% of our shots were on target, which is good for us. Their keeper made a couple of decent saves, I've got to admit, and some of them, like a couple of Fernandes shots, just straight at him without the power. Left back, I'm going to give Cucurella a 7. Thought he played well. He's really in a rich vein of form. First half, he had that tendency again to play it back, but second half, always trying to take on his man, trying to play balls and go into space. Defending very well. I can only think of once where he got caught out, and that's because the players around him weren't in position. So yeah, it's 7, and long may it continue. He's really, really proving me wrong, and that's what I like to see. In front of them, Ugo Chokwu gets a 5.5. Lots of effort, but hasn't got the quality that Caicedo has at the moment. He's only a young lad, not getting on his back, but I thought we were a little bit lacking in that midfield. If we'd played quality opponents, which fortunately we didn't, we could have been caught out last night. Didn't have that much of a chemistry with Enzo either, I didn't think. Enzo last night darting around everywhere. He gets a 7. As I say, one shot, one opportunity. I think he should have scored, but he didn't. He skied it, and another couple straight at the keeper. Trying to play it forward when he could. Looked frustrated at times. Not his very best game by any means, but I'll give him a 7. I'm being gracious. Conor Gallagher last night, not his best game. He gets a 6. Lots of running like you always get. When he's pushed out to that right, I don't think you get the best out of him. And that's what happened last night. I like to see him more through the middle. I think that's where he's really been playing his best stuff this year. Cole Palmer is my Chelsea man of the match, and he gets an 8.5. I just think he's absolute quality, and I think he showed it last night. Sterling gets a 6.5. Probably scored him down a bit because I've got such high hopes of him, and he should have such high standards. First half, I thought he was pony. Second half, I thought he was excellent. 6.5. Scored a lovely goal, and should have had a penalty, and was a pain in the neck to him all the time during that second half. Up front, Nicholas Jackson. I'm sorry, Nico, you just get a 4. Because, to be honest, it was a waste of space having you out there. You weren't using your brain. You were darting around. I'll tell you what, we used to have a guy, when I was way back when I played for a schoolboy side, a youth side, Keys in Battersea. And we had a lad that turned up, and he was one of them where if you only had 10 players, he would still be sub. And this one day, I think we had 9 turn up. It was a freezing cold day, I remember it. And he played. I'm not gonna name him in case he watches these. But he very rarely got a game, but he played. And I'll tell you what, he darted round. It was like watching a wasp in your house when you're trying to squat it. He was like that. He was everywhere apart from where you would expect him to be. And that's what Nicholas Jackson was like last night. Not once did I think he was in danger of scoring. Not once did I think he was in danger of creating anything for anyone. He was just poor all round. I'm not having a go at him. He's a young lad. He's low on confidence, obviously. I think he needs to play alongside someone because him and Nkunku pre-season looked the bee's knees as a partnership. And I think that confidence has just waned. Last night, Poch is only going to get a 4. He won the game. He put a really strong side out, and I thought maybe we could have tried out the alternative goalkeeper because he needs to get minutes under his belt. What happens if Sanchez just gets injured and he's got to go straight in? I'd like a keeper who's had a few minutes under his belt for the club. I really would. I thought that was a wasted opportunity. And some of the younger lads who didn't get in, people like Matson, who's not had many minutes, I thought he could have played. But what do I know? That's down to the manager. I'll tell you what, I'm having a moan, but it was on Twitter and on Facebook last night, people saying it's a disgrace. At the end of the day, it's down to the manager. I couldn't understand it. I could. He wanted to go through. He probably wanted to go through, and he wanted to give these players who are misfiring against low blocks a chance. Blackburn didn't play a low block. Credit to them. They might be absolute pants, but they come and they tried to play the game. So I take me out off to them. So he probably came unstuck thinking they'd play a different way, and it would be another opportunity to try and work out how you beat this low block. In the first half, I don't think he would have learned anything about that side, other than the fact that we can pass sideways and backwards with great effect. But yeah, he doesn't get a very high score from me for last night. I thought the performance was really disappointing, although the result was right. Let me know what you think. You might think I'm being overly critical. You might think I'm not criticising them enough. That's why I do these, to hear what you guys and girls think. So let me know. Not going to score the substitutes. It was what it was. For me, it was a very uninspiring performance with the right result. And I'll tell you what, if we get the right result for the rest of the season with a load of uninspiring performances, you won't hear any more moans from me. Okay, thanks for watching, folks. Please throw the video a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I shall speak to you after the Tottenham game, if not before. Up to Chelsea.